With that, I now call this meeting number 528 of BlueQuest Toastmasters to order. You're now inside the code of conduct of a Toastmasters meeting. As such, a few rules apply to you. Before I state the rules, our club mission statement reads as: we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. With the mission statement of the club done, I would like you to know the meeting rules. First of all, please maintain decorum in the meeting. Only one person speaks at a time. If you indulge in unruly behavior that will disturb other speakers on stage, as host, we reserve the right to remove you from the meeting without assigning any reason whatsoever. Please ensure that your digital devices, anything that can make a noise, are on silent mode so that when you are speaking, they don't speak. Please ensure that you remain muted and preferably you keep your videos on throughout the meeting. We will understand if you have bandwidth or other issues through which you will not be able to open your video. But in any case, keep yourself muted until it is your turn to speak. Role players, I request you to please rename yourself like I have done, G.E. Rupinder Singh. Please rename yourself so that you are easy to identify. Should we get more guests, this will help the table topic masters and master in identifying who did not get a chance to speak today, and because of that, they will get the chance to speak. As far as possible, let's applaud for our fellow participants using the icon tray at the bottom, the emoticons tray using the reactions button. Once again, I would like to remind you, please keep your noise making devices and your audio devices muted. With that, I would like to welcome our president. Before I do that, it's going to be a tandem meeting today. So the Toastmaster of the day hands over to the table topic master, who hands over to the general evaluator. Role players, you will not be called upon to explain your roles. The Toastmaster of the day has got that covered for you. Speech evaluators, you will not be asked to state the speech objectives at least. The Toastmaster of the day has got that covered for you as well. With that, I hand it over to the person who's always got everything covered, the very versatile, very dynamic, and our club president, Toastmaster Kapil Kakkar.
Thank you, Rupinder. I welcome all the guests and the members in our meeting 528. Before we start, couple of announcements that we have district contest coming up on 20th and 21st. So please do join.
Division contest.
Division, sorry, my bad. Division contest coming up. Please do join if your calendar permits and encourage your participants. And secondly, I would like to request our members to renew their membership. Shorendra sir has already posted a message in our group. 31st, most of the membership are expiring on 31st March. So please do renew before time. Now, before I start, let me take quick introduction from our guest, Mehek. Mehek, I think you are joining our meeting for the first time.
Yes.
Okay. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm Mehek Gora. I'm from TCS Maitri Toastmasters Gurgaon Club. And I'm joining any different club for the first time ever. Like, I've never been to a different club. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Okay.
Tanmay?
Yes. Hi, good morning all. My name is Tanmay. I'm a CA with profession, and I've been in the stock markets for the last 3 years. And I have known Toastmasters for the last 2-3 years, but it was always on my to-do list. But somehow I got time, and I'm attending this session. I'm from Gurgaon only, so I'll be looking forward for this session, and I hope it will be a memorable one. Thanks.
Okay, welcome, Tanmay. Natasha? I guess you joined earlier also, but what kept you away from our meetings?
Kapil, I don't think, good morning, everybody. I don't think I qualify as a guest, or maybe I'm a frequent visitor. I'm Natasha Kumar, joining in from Bangalore. I'm VP Ed and VPM of 2 different clubs in Bangalore, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Welcome again, Natasha. And now coming back to our theme of the meeting today, which is coffee. Of course, we all love our coffee. And to help us enjoy our coffee today, we have Master Chef, that is the Toastmaster of the day, Elisa Schneider. Elisa Schneider, over to you.
Thank you so much, Kapil, for that wonderful introduction. Someone has said, good ideas start with brainstorming, but great ideas start with coffee. Now, if you agree with this statement, maybe you're a coffee lover. You can't wake up in the morning and not have that good cup of coffee to get you going in your day. But I have a question for you. You may be a coffee lover, but are you a coffee connoisseur? Now, a coffee connoisseur is someone who knows everything about coffee. You know the different roasts, you know the different beans they come from, various flavors, ways to brew a cup of coffee, and every type of specialty coffee that exists. This is about becoming a connoisseur. Is that what describes you? If not, it's true that it does take time. It's equal to becoming a wine or a whiskey sommelier, meaning it takes passion, love for the drink, and the desire to know everything there is to know about coffee. Now, if you want to become a coffee connoisseur, and with so many different types of coffee in the world, this is no easy feat. So you may not be able to quit your day job and become a high-paid coffee connoisseur, but at least you can take some steps to know a little bit more about it. Having said that, tonight, this morning in our meeting, we will be going over 4 steps that you can take to know more about coffee and become that coffee connoisseur in your circle and group of friends. Now, the first thing to becoming a coffee connoisseur is to know the different kinds of coffee that exist. You've got your Arabica, which has a softer, sweeter taste, and these beans are from Brazil. You've got your Robusta. As the name implies, these beans are strong and robust. They taste a little burnt. They grow mostly in Africa and Indonesia. You've got your specialized Liberica. These beans are somewhat rare and they're known to be a little bit bitter with a slightly woodsy flavor. They're prevalent in the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Finally, you've got your specialized Excelsa beans, which are a rare commodity, and they have a somewhat tart yet fruity flavor profile. They're grown in Southeast Asia. Now, once you've got these 4 main types of beans down, you're 1 step of the way through the process. Step 2, don't worry, we're getting there. Step 2, learn the kinds of roast. So you've got basically 4 different kinds. Light roast, high taste of acidity and high levels of caffeine. That's the kind of cup you want in the morning, right? Medium roast. This coffee has a balance of aroma, acid, and flavor with medium levels of caffeine. Medium dark roast. Heavy and full with spicy flavor and low amounts of caffeine. And finally, your dark roast, which is bitter and smoky in flavor with very low levels of caffeine. So let's review really quick. Step 1 to becoming a coffee connoisseur, know the types of beans. And step 2, know the types of roast. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but when I take my coffee, I like my coffee with the 3 main elements. Obviously the coffee with the milk and a little bit of sugar. This for me is a great cup of coffee. Now, these 3 elements are not just key for coffee, they're key for Toastmaster meetings too. Because you see, in Toastmasters, we have 3 elements to the meeting. We have our prepared speeches, where our speakers have been practicing, they've written, and they've practiced this speech so that they can present it to you this morning. They will have 5 to 7 minutes to do so. Then we've got this morning our impromptu speeches, led by our glorious table topic master. Naveen, he will be presenting Impromptu questions, then you'll have 1 to 2 minutes to answer. If you're a guest, feel free to participate. We would love for you to be a part of this. And finally, the third section of this meeting will be the evaluation of the meeting as a whole by our general evaluator, followed by the evaluations of the speeches by our specialized evaluators. And then last but not least, we'll get the reports from the tag team, the group of evaluators that have been observing the meeting as we go throughout. Now, speaking a little bit about this tag team, just like the coffee has the 3 elements, so does the tag team. First, we'll have the timer. The timer will be showing his timing cards throughout the meeting to let you know if you've reached and qualified with the time. So please pay attention. Make sure to get to the green. Once you get to the red, you know you need to be finishing. As I said, for the prepared speeches, generally 5 to 7 minutes. For the impromptu speeches, 1 to 2 minutes. And for evaluations, 2 to 3 minutes. So please pay attention to the timer. Then we will have our ah counter, who will be taking note of all the ahs, the ums, the likes, the so's, to help us to make sure to use pauses as much as possible and ums as little as possible. Finally, we will have our grammarian for the day, who will be presenting, be paying attention to all the good uses and the bad uses of grammar, including the word of the day, which I have completely forgotten. So I will ask our grammarian to please include the word of the day in the chat. And in this way, we can make sure to include the word of the day as we go.
Sophia, if you could tell us about the word of the day.
The word of the day is invigorating, which means making one feel strong, healthy, and full of energy. I will paste the same on the chat box with an example. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Urfia, as our grammarian for the day. We really appreciate this. And I would like to ask you one question before we go on to the next section of prepared speeches, and ask you the following question. Do you consider yourself to have OCD, obsessive coffee disorder? If so, maybe this is the moment where you should run really quick. Go grab that cup of coffee because we are about ready to get into our section of prepared speeches. It's going to be a fantastic time. I hope you enjoy it. Our speakers are outstanding this morning. Having said that, I would like to present our first speaker for the day, Surendra Bhomik, who will be presenting his speech, The Veblen Effect. Now, the objectives of Surendra's speech are for him to review the basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Surendra is a very experienced speaker. I look forward to hearing him this morning. So having said that, Surendra Bhomik, The Veblen Effect. The Veblen Effect, Surendra Bhomik.
You're on mute, sir.
You're on mute.
So you're on mute.
Yes, I am on mute. And now, can I be heard? Thank you so much. So I did do a research. And seriously, when I was thinking what I should be researching on, I went blank. And then, thanks to our great Shah Rukh Khan, I saw this advertisement of Denver's Signature. For people who do not know, it is a newer version of Denver for Men deodorants. Well, an old wine, a new bottle. And that's where the research started. It took me back to my good old days in MBA when our strategic marketing professor, Sharad Sarind, taught us how the Veblen effect is being used aggressively in brand promoting. From Julius Caesar to Rado watches. It's a great psychological game being played over thousands of years, a game played to benefit a person or a brand or a product as a brand. Let me explain this Veblen effect using a few examples. As I was doing my research, I found an historian, Webb Mergen, who told us that at the age of 23, Julius Caesar was just a junior politician in the Roman court. But he had two great advantages. He was confident and he had a lot of brains. While once he was on a ship to Rhodes to improve his oration, he was captured by the Sicilian pirates who demanded a ransom of 20 talents of silver, which in today's case would be about 620 kgs of silver. But as I said, Caesar was very confident and had a lot of brains. He insisted that the ransom must be 50 talents of silver. That's around 1,550 kgs of silver. Well, normally the pirates found that whenever the captives were there, they actually tried to escape as cheaply as possible. But if Caesar said he would double the ransom, why argue? They let Caesar's men go back to Rome to raise the money. In Rome, in his absence, Caesar suddenly became a very famous and well-known person. No one had ever been ransomed for such an enormous sum ever before. The ransom demand put Caesar on the political map and made him very famous. He had just invented the Veblen effect. Although many years, maybe 2,000 years later, it was an American economist, Thorsten Veblen, who actually gave this name to this effect. Well, the Veblen effect is when consumers perceive higher priced goods to be worth much more, simply because they cost more. Examples could be the Rado, the Rolex watches, Cartier watches, your iPhone, Bentley, the cars, the Rolls Royce, the Astra Martins, the De Beer rings, or just Harrods in London. None of them are actually any better than the cheaper alternatives, but the price alone makes them seem more special and desirable. But as far as anyone in Rome knew, it wasn't Caesar who had done it. It was an independent evaluation. So it must be true. And because Caesar was now so highly valued, his men had little trouble gaining the ransom money. They returned to the island and freed him. But then Caesar wasn't going to allow the pirates to keep that sort of money at all. As a now important and famous man, it was easy to raise a huge army. He hunted down the pirates and took back all the money, plus everything else they had pilferaged, then executed them all. And the rest is all history. With the same confidence of confidence and brains, he became the ruler of all Rome. And he presided over a golden age of the Roman Empire, expanding it from Spain to Germany, from Britain to the Middle East. Now, how you can stake a claim in the mind is by creating a perception. And how you create that perception is by controlling the context. Control the context and you control the mind. Control the mind and you control reality. You know, in my research, I found another very good example of Veblen effect in today's world. It's about the Johnny Walker Double Black whiskey. Johnny Walker Black is actually labeled as an at least 12 years aged Scotch whiskey, but Double Black has no age statement. Double Black is sold at a higher price than the Simple Black, with a perceived notion that Double Black should be much better than just black, especially since Double Black is pricier than black. That is how the human mind works. In reality, no one knows what is so special in Double Black, except the label, which claims that it is very smooth, without actually saying it is smoother than black. Many believe that it is simply a marketing strategy to pass off an unaged Scotch at a much higher price through Veblen effect. Another example I can give you is the De Beers. It markets its diamonds as a symbol of love and commitment. This has worked wonders with lovers and suitors and helped De Beer to sell their diamonds, especially the engagement rings, which all you young girls are looking forward to, which will cost your suitors a ridiculously high price than their competitors. You know, Tim Vostell says that iPhone is a perfect example of a verbal effect because more than for the quality of the services offered, it is purchased for its image associated with prestige, more a status symbol. And I can go on with other such brands. Well, all said and done, one would ask, why would a person practice such a consumption when cheaper alternatives are always available? Or does someone gain sheer pleasure from being overcharged? There is no particular reason. It may be for gaining a relative advantage or a competitive edge over others. To be clearly distinguished from lower classes or enhancement of status or innovating as we've been talking about today. It always comes with its own cost and benefits as stated above. Can we in Blue Quest create a verbal effect for ourselves so that Toastmasters see it in a different hallowed light? Let us work towards it. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Surinder, for that outstanding speech about the Veblen effect. I learned a lot, and it definitely gives us food for thought about how we can go about creating this effect in our lives and in our club, and if it's something we want to do. Having said that, let's take a minute on the clock and you can send your comments. So I'll ask Nimisha, our timer, if you can just do 1 minute on the clock and let Surinder know what you thought about his speech. You can private text him, public text him. It's always good to hear from the audience. Nimisha, is that about 1 minute then? I'm going to assume. Not quite? Okay.
Just 45 seconds.
Perfect.
Yeah, 1 minute is up.
Thank you so much. And if you're still finishing your comments, go ahead and finish those. It's just always amazing to be able to hear back from the audience and know how your speech was perceived. Having said that, it's time to move on and move forward to our second speaker for this morning, Khushabu Chukani. With her speech entitled The Word Mentor, Khushabu will be working through the objectives for this speech, which is to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring, and then to share some aspect of a previous experience that Khushabu had as a protege. Khushabu is a storyteller at heart, and I look forward to hearing her speech. Having said that, I'm going to leave you with Khushabu Chokani, the word mentor, Khushabu Chokani.
I was first introduced to the word mentor, mentoring in Toastmasters International. Wow, before the reaction comes, oh my God, she doesn't know the meaning of the word mentor being a professional. It's okay. My mechanism works differently because everything should touch here first and then it gets registered here. That doesn't mean my emotional quotient is high. And all of you know how about my IQ. Anyways, Toastmaster International clearly enunciates who is a mentor and a mentee. A mentor is an experienced member who provides guidance and support to empower proteges or mentees to reach their goals. And a mentee is someone who is seeking mentoring from a mentor to achieve her or his goals. She should be open, she should be willing to learn and receive feedback and implement. Whereas mentor should be someone who must be in a good standing for at least a period of 6 months and has completed a path and is credible, reliable, and so on. But among these definitions of a mentor and a mentee, where is Toastmaster Khushbu? What am I doing? Well, good morning, my dear fellow friends. And let me tell you my story of Toastmasters mentoring. I was struggling very hard in my first club. And when I first joined the first meeting, and it was great experience. Wow, lovely. But slowly, there were no meetings. And I realized I joined here to attend meetings, to grow, and why the meetings are not happening. Then suddenly I remembered the Punjabi guy who gave me my first evaluation for my first speech on my first day in Toastmaster International. And I clearly remembered his evaluation because that was engraved in my heart. I was on cloud 9 after listening to his evaluation. And he said, "Dear girl, in Toastmasters International, you earn your last standing ovation at a farewell. And it is compulsory to give a standing ovation for your icebreaker speech. But today, you have earned that standing ovation." And trust me, after that feedback, I was on cloud 9. I was like, wow, they were like literally hearts around me. And that guy, that Punjabi guy was in my heart. There was no love angle, there was no Cupid. I told my husband, you know, that man praised me. My husband said, relax. He has not met you virtually. And that too for a prepared speech. So relax. That Punjabi guy was none other than the Jagat Guru, the global mentor, teacher, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh, sitting here in front of me. And I called him up one day. I squeezed out his number from the WhatsApp group and I called him, "Sir, my meetings are not happening. This is not happening. That is not happening. I'm here to grow and learn. How will I do it? You know, till date, I've been practicing public speaking and storytelling only for little children. I want to speak in front of adults. Please help me. Can I join your club, sir?" He told me, "Girl, relax. Relax. Just relax. Okay? Listen to me, girl. What will you do by shifting your membership from this club to this club? It will only spoil your reputation." I told him, "Meetings are not taking place. What do I do?" You can do everything. The power is in your hands. How can I do anything? I'm a beginner. I don't even know what is Toastmaster International. Nothing. Relax, girl, relax. Increase your Saraswati. That is, increase your knowledge and wisdom. I will ensure that you attend meetings from different clubs, you learn, you get slots, and you give all the learnings back to your club and help your club to grow. And he introduced me to several clubs where I started attending meeting. And I was constantly telling him, can you give me membership here or there? And he only told me one thing, don't hop, skip, and jump. Just learn and ensure that your club grows. Till date, I didn't know what is the meaning of the word giving and exact mentoring. When I met him, and I only met him virtually and spoke to him on phone. Every conversation, he was only emphasizing on two things: give back, give back. Learn and give back, learn and give back. And I told him, okay. And today, after 6 months, today when I've actually completed 6 months in Toastmasters International, I really feel that I have grown as a mentor. Toastmasters International in this my speech slot clearly talks about what is coaching and mentoring. And for me, coaching till date was you pay money to a teacher and you receive knowledge. That's it, you are done. But Toastmaster Rupinder Singh introduced me to the concept of real learning, how your words, your teachings can actually affect you, impact you, and help you to contribute others. So if you imagine the chain, Toastmaster Rupinder taught Khushbu, and Khushbu took that learning from him, and she started multiplying to her children and to many other people. Then, in one of his club, I was introduced to Toastmaster Anand Katyayani, my second mentor. Though none of them are my official mentor, and the way he guided me on how to create a speech and impact people and how to ensure that every meeting becomes effective and there is a take away for every individual who listens to you and doesn't waste time was my biggest learning. They are not my official mentor. They are not supposed to help me. But if at that point of time, Toastmaster Rupinder wouldn't have guided me through those ways and paths, I probably would have left Toastmasters International and been sitting at home and doing the regular work. This whole concept, this whole episode that I had with Toastmaster Rupinder and this Toastmaster Anand has helped me to understand the nitty-gritties of relationship and mentoring. A mentor and is not only responsible to give or help a mentee to achieve her goals, but the mentor's credibility, trust, honor, and his contribution makes a great difference. And that is what I have learned from my two mentors, Toastmaster Rupinder and Toastmaster Anand. They are just a call away, and I have started implementing their learnings with other people who come to my system, my circle. This has really reaffirmed my faith on the ancient Gurukul system, which is one of the which is one of the strongest education that India has always boasted. That was trust, reliability, responsibility, self-control, honesty, and credibility. And today I feel really proud that because of Toastmasters International, I met two absolutely fantastic mentors who has helped me to evolve not only as a Toastmaster, but also as a mentor, as a teacher, as a trainer. personally, whereby I can ensure that whatever I take from my students or whoever comes to me for any help, I ensure that I give my best to them. Toastmasters International really talks about that what is mentoring and how it can help you to grow. But for me, it wouldn't have been effective if these two distinguished Toastmasters wouldn't have come to my rescue. And with this, I'd like to conclude my speech that I'm still looking for an official mentor. And Toastmaster Rupinder, will you please be my official mentor again? Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Khushubu, for that very moving speech on mentors. I think it was very touching how you shared the two main people who have had such an impact in your life. And it allows us to understand why mentorship is so important, and also think about our mentors in our lives who have touched us in very special ways and made a difference. I'd like to please ask our timer to put a minute on the clock for comments in the chat, so you can share with our dear Khushubu what you thought of her speech, commendations, recommendations, and so on. So we'll take 1 minute for that, please.
One minute is over.
Thank you so much to our timer Nimisha for keeping track of the time for us. Perhaps you feel this way. Someone has said, I don't need an inspirational quote. I need coffee. If you've ever felt that way, maybe you are a coffee lover, and perhaps after today, you can begin to think about becoming a coffee connoisseur. As I've mentioned previously, there are 4 key things that you want to know about coffee in becoming a connoisseur. Step 1, know the types of coffee that are out there. Step 2, know the kinds of roast that are available. But what about step 3? Well, this is maybe the delicious part. Know what kinds of coffee can be mixed and prepared. Let's go over them really quickly. Perhaps you already know some of them. Espresso is that single shot, usually blended from different roasts to create a bold, intense flavor. It's also the basis for many other coffee drinks. Macchiato is nothing more than a simple espresso shot topped with foam. Cappuccino. Any cappuccino lovers out there? Oof. Cappuccino includes equal parts espresso, hot milk, and foamed milk, usually topped with chocolate or cocoa powder. And I don't know about you, but that is sounding really good about right now. Then you've got the latte, which is served in a glass rather than a mug, and includes 1 or 2 shots of espresso with steamed milk and a bit of foam. That sounds a little more easy to handle. Last but not least, you've got for those chocolate loving fans, the mocha, which is a combination of espresso, chocolate, and milk. So all kinds of varieties. If you want to be a coffee connoisseur, take a look at these different options and start tasting the different flavors out there. Now, last step, but also very important, is to understand the types of brews that are available and the different methods used to make the coffee. And I'm not going to go very much into detail, but you've got the percolator, the stovetop, the vacuum, and the press, among others. So here's my challenge to you. If you love coffee and you are a coffee lover, why not take the next step and become a coffee connoisseur? Very quickly, remember, know the types of coffee, know what kinds of roast there are, decide what kind of coffee you want to drink, And finally, what method to use. And if you get into all of these things, pretty soon, before you know it, you'll be a coffee connoisseur. Having said that, I want to finish with this before handing it off to our table topic master for the morning. Someone has said, kindness is like coffee. It awakens your spirit and improves your day. So fill your cup with both. Having said that, we can do the best speaker, please. And then we are going to move forward into our table topic session, which will be moderated by our fabulous and outstanding Naveen Parval, who I've noticed everything he does with exceptional quality. So having said that, I'm very excited to see what Naveen has for us this morning. Naveen, over to you.
Good evening, good morning, friends, and good evening from people from some parts of the world. All right, so today's topic is really special for me because I'm one of those who is really addicted to coffee. Oops, let me just get the pulse out of the way. Yeah. So I'm one of those persons who is addicted to coffee since, I don't know, decades. And there are 2 days which I can never forget, my birthday and the World Coffee Day, which falls on 1st October every year. I don't know if I can remember any other days throughout the year till I get spanked by my wife. All right, so let's begin today's topic. And today's topic is also related to the theme of coffee, which is again very endearing for me. And of course, it's something which really invigorates me early in the morning. So I would like to begin today's by the list of table topic speakers whom I've got. So first of all, I would like to call Toastmaster. Okay, before this, I would like to tell you how the table topics works. So it's a 2 minutes impromptu speech, and you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, the timer will show you the green card. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, you'll be shown the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, you'll be shown the red card, after which you'll have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. And once that's complete, and that's it. So please ensure that you complete your table topics within 2 minutes, 30 seconds, else you'll get disqualified. So let's begin today's table topics, and there are a lot of them. So first of all, I would like to call Toastmaster Ashish Varghese. Are you there, Toastmaster Ashish? Toastmaster Ashish, can I see him? Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, your screen. All right. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Just give me 1 second. All right, so your topic is coffee is a hug in a mug. Coffee is a hug in a mug. Toastmaster Ashish Varghese.
Okay, so coffee is a hug in a mug. So for many who don't know me, I'm actually a Malayali, but I'm a person who was born and brought up in North India, especially in Rajasthan. So growing up there, coffee was not the staple. Majorly, the tea was a staple thing. But as I'm a Malayali, so I was born in, my native place is called Wayanad, which is another coffee hub place full of plantations. My whole home itself has, what we say, big plantations of coffee and everything. And it was only during the vacation that we could see all this thing, enjoy all these things. And the early morning, my grandma used to roast the coffee beans and make the fresh brew out of it. So it used to be some of the nostalgic feelings that brings us back to the good old childhood days when we used to go home for vacation. We didn't have to worry much. That just smell of coffee, which wakes you up silently with the closes, opens your eyes, and go for a good breakfast with the coffee and all. But now, as we have grown up physically, not mentally and other personality wise, but yeah, so physically, once as we have gone up and the responsibilities are grown, work wise, everything has grown up. So that's another thing that I have started feeling once I joined the corporate life. A coffee break, a small 5 to 10 minutes coffee break with friends or the colleagues, just to have a small chat, just to rant out the experiences, the good or bad, which had happened during that office hours, was something like nothing has happened before. This used to be the best therapy, the free of cost therapy, which happens with just a cup of coffee. At the end of the day, even if you're good or bad, happy or sad, you go out with your loved ones, your spouses, and your friends, and have a cup of coffee. That's the best hug or anything, the personal thing that you can have with anyone. So yeah, definitely, coffee is therapeutic in nature. Coffee is taste in nature. Coffee has many different features, but at the end of the day, yes, it is a mug full of hug, and which can taste best to anyone the way they want in that particular day or the particular situation. Over to you, table topic master of the day.
Thank you. Wonderful, Toastmaster Ashish. All right. So now I would now like to call Toastmaster Nitasha Kumar. Toastmaster Nitasha Kumar.
Hi.
Yep. Okay, can you switch on your video so that we may see you? Is it possible?
Okay, I have very low bandwidth, but I'll try.
All right.
Probably see me better without the video on.
No, it's all right. That's okay. Okay. So are you a coffee lover, first of all? I'm just curious.
It depends on the time of the day and the company.
All right, that's okay. Okay, so your topic is coffee making Mondays bearable. Oh, it's possible. Coffee making Mondays possible.
Thank God it's Monday. That is the way, surprisingly, I begin my week. Because for me, Saturday, the week, can you hear me? I have a note saying my internet is unstable. Can I turn off the video? I may have better bandwidth.
That's all right.
Okay. Sorry, back. I'm going to start again. So, thank God it's Monday. That is the way I would begin my week, unlike most others I know. The typical acronym is, oh God, it's a Monday. But for me, Monday mornings are actually a refresher because my work is focused only on the weekends. I have back-to-back calls, back-to-back classes, and both my Toastmaster Club meetings are on Sundays, one at 10 in the morning and the other at 4 in the evening. So for me, Monday mornings begin with a bang, and what can be better than not a cup of coffee, because I'm not really a coffee drinker, but yes, a hot steaming cup of tea, just the way I like it, brewed with a lot of tulsi, ginger, soft, popularly known as something which I've forgotten, and a good amount of sugar. It has to be loaded with a lot of sugar because that is what really makes my tea drinkable, possible, bearable. Yes, even though I'm not a coffee drinker, but yes, I have to start the week and a Monday morning, and I eagerly look forward to the week because the week is the most relaxing part of my life, and the weekends are stressful. So with that, I hand it over back to you, table topic master.
Wonderful. Okay, now for the next speaker, I would like to call Toastmaster Ashok Sharma. Are you there? Yeah, Toastmaster.
Hi, Naveen.
Hi. All right, so let me share just a second. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. Okay, let me just share the screen. All right, this was the last topic. Okay, so the topic for you, Toastmaster Ashok, is I promised my doctor only 1 cup a day. I promised my doctor only 1 cup of coffee a day. So tell me about your consumption of coffee and how you like to consume it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Naveen. It was some 3 years back when my doctor said that I am suffering from hypertension and I should stop consuming coffee or tea And in that discussion, he told that at max you can have 1 cup of coffee in a day. I was really worried because I have to decide a time, which time I should consume that 1 cup of coffee. Then I asked him that does he has any preference in time? He says no, any time you can take. And if you don't want to start the medicine because you are at very early stage of this hypertension problem, if you start taking medicine, then you can consume 2 cup coffee per day. I agreed. I liked the second suggestion of him, and I started taking medication. And then I started consuming 2 cups of coffee. One definitely in the morning, like you having Naveen. So one definitely is required in the morning. And my second time I need a cup of coffee or a tea is at 4 o'clock. So that's a time between lunch and dinner, and I feel like, oh, something should be there, and that something ends up with a cup of coffee. So 2 cups of coffee are very much required, definitely not the size which you shown in the slide deck, but definitely I like to have 2 cups of coffee in a day. Regardless, my doctor says that I should not go for it. Thank you.
Wonderful, Toastmaster Ashok. I would like to encourage all the table topic speakers, please try to use the word of the day. It's a very invigorating topic and an invigorating theme as well. So now the next speaker, I would like to ask Toastmaster Tanmay Agarwal, would you like to participate?
Yes, sure.
All right. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, so your topic is good communication is just as stimulating as a black coffee and just as hard to sleep after. Good communication is just as stimulating as black coffee and just as hard to sleep after. Toastmaster Tanmay.
Yeah. Thanks, Naveen, for the opportunity on the table topics. Well, I would say to be successful in life, there are some aspects, that you have to focus on, and one of the very important things out of them is good communication, because it really gives you it basically allows the people to perceive you in a very good position, and you can, even if you are in let's say a job or in a business where you have to market anything because you have to showcase your ability, it's very important that you are a very effective communicator so that you can reach out to the people in a very good way. And on the other hand, black coffees are very stimulating as good communication because they both are tempting. And a person who has had a taste of coffee definitely will get, addicted to it and will continue it doing so, even if anything happens. Uh, that's it. Like, over to you, Navi.
Wonderful. Okay, so then after this, I would like to call Toastmaster Khushbu. Toastmaster Khushbu, are you there? All right. Okay, so I assume that you're also a coffee lover.
No, I'm a teetotaler.
Oh, doesn't matter. You can still give an attempt. On behalf of all the coffee lovers. All right, so your topic is, what are the benefits of drinking coffee? Or if you feel there are no benefits, you may also explain that.
Benefits of drinking coffee is, for me, is undoubtedly meeting the love of your life, your partner, in a cafe. Coffee, the term, always reminds me of my first meeting with my husband. I met him, it was an arranged setup, and I was really nervous, shaking from top to bottom. I was 27 years old, a corporate, but being born and brought up in a Agarwal conservative family, I met the great guy in an arranged setup, and it was my first meeting. It is difficult to believe that meeting a guy working so long, meeting men every day, you have never fallen in love. And he was sitting diagonally opposite to me, and I was sitting this side. And he asked me, "What would you like to have?" And I told him, because he ordered coffee. So I said, okay, coffee. And the coffee came and the coffee sat in front of me and he finished the coffee and we discussed and spoke for 2 hours. So for me, the biggest benefit of drinking coffee is meeting and chatting your partner. So if you're single, trust me, order coffee. You can remember me. My energies will come and probably you'll get the best partner of your life. You will manifest it for sure. Because for me, coffee was always remembering meeting my husband, the love of my life, the best partner. Though I always had one only, so I know obviously he's the best one in life. And that is what coffee does, whether you drink it or you don't drink it. Over to you, Toastmaster Naveen.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Rupinder, that recording must be sent to her husband.
All right. Okay. Now, first, I would like to call our timer. The timer is Toastmaster Nimisha Singla. Okay. Toastmaster Nimisha, just a second. Let me share my screen.
For that, does anybody have timing cards? Because Nimisha will need to be timed.
Is there anyone who may just take up the backup?
Can anyone?
It's okay, you can post me green, yellow, red in the chat. That's also fine.
Okay, I'll do the timing then. Sharinder sir, can you do the timing? I'm actually writing feedback.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Master Nimisha, your topic is I never drink coffee at lunch. I find it keeps me awake for the afternoon. I never drink coffee for lunch at lunch. I find that it keeps me awake for the afternoon.
Thank you so much, Stable Topic Master, Distinguished Toastmaster Naveen. Yes, I never drink coffee at lunch because then it keeps me awake. And as per my research, which I have done, it's not, you have to sleep for 8 hours in a day, but that doesn't have to be all in night. It is said that the best time to sleep is to have 5 to 6 hours sleep in the night and probably 2 hours in the afternoon. And if I'll drink coffee, it is definitely going to keep me awake. Coming to what other things I have to do in the afternoon. Well, when you wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, there is a time in the afternoon where you need a break for yourself to revive yourself. Yes, drinking coffee is one of the options, but that is also there in the morning, which I do. But in the afternoon, you need to maintain a balance with your body and with your mind. And I remember one advice from my mother, which goes like, "Don't drink too much coffee, or else you lose your eyes." So to maintain that, I don't drink coffee in the afternoon. Why? Again, you need to maintain a balance. I drink in the morning and the evening, but the resting time for me in the afternoon is to get a good sleep rather than having a coffee. So whenever you're having it, have it, enjoy it, and relish it. It is going to definitely be. It is definitely going to be an invigorating experience when you are having things in the balance. So this is why I don't drink coffee in the afternoon. Only have it in the mornings and the evenings. If I want to wake up for a movie in the night, you can have your third one. Thank you so much. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
All right. So for the next speaker, I would like to call Toastmaster Surendra. Toastmaster Surendra?
Yep.
Okay. So your topic for Toastmaster Surendra is a yawn is a silent scream for coffee. A yawn is a silent scream for coffee. So let me know your thoughts about it, that you agree to it or do not agree to it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naveen. What an exciting thing. And my wife has actually over the years understood exactly what this means. It's so true with me that every time I yawn and yawn loud so that my wife hears it, and immediately I know that the signal has gone to the maid to make coffee. Coffee, which has to be strong, dark, without sugar. Excuse me, Alyssa, I don't have sugar with my coffee, but the coffee is what takes it on with me. And the energy is back. The sleepy feelings that you tend to do at those times when you are low on energy is back. And the energy is back, and you're so into it that now I have realized that when my energy is even high, I can pep it up by just yawning in front of my wife so that she gives me another additional cup of coffee. Coffee is the one which keeps me going. And today I have one problem that my wife has now caught on to this thing about my yawn. So I only get 2 cups of coffee, even if I am yawning the whole day. Even just 2 minutes back, I yawned, giving her a signal, and she just said, so that's what it's all about. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, now I would like to call, for the next speaker, I would like to call Toastmaster Mehek. Toastmaster Mehek. All right.
Okay.
Okay, just a second. Let me share my screen. Okay, so your topic, Toastmaster Mehek, is when life gives you lemons, trade them for coffee. When life gives you lemons, trade them for coffee.
Okay. Thank you, Naveen. Good morning, everyone. My topic is when life gives you lemon, trade them for coffee. And I can totally, agree with this. I can take you. Okay, I'll take you down through the memory lane how my coffee addiction actually started. So earlier, when I was in ninth standard, I was very little. I was in ninth standard, and I got this habit of waking up at night. So what I used to do is I used to make drinks for myself. I used to make different kinds of food for myself. For example, I started with Maggie, then moved on to sandwiches. But every food needs a drink with it, right? So I used to make drinks like lemonade and other kind of drinks. Like we have this robza at home, which we can easily make by just stirring it in water, and it gets prepared in just 2 minutes. So I used to make those kind of drinks, and it did help me. It made me feel more sleepy and more tired actually. And one day I got my hands at coffee. My friend told me that you should try drinking coffee. It'll help you wake up at night. And I just tested it once. My mother didn't used to really support me drinking coffee. I just went to the kitchen. I boiled a cup of milk, mixed coffee in it, and I tried it. And that night, I was able to wake up for the full night without even yawning. And like, what kind of magic is this? I was so amazed with that cup of coffee. And it did struck me like, what is this? Is it healthy or not? Should I drink it or not? But I was just a kid. I kept on drinking it. I kept on drinking the coffee, and it really I kept on trying different kinds of coffee after that. I kept on, sorry. I changed. I really changed. I didn't used to drink any kind of drinks after that, any kinds of mocktails or lemonades after that. I just switched to coffee altogether. That was how my addiction started actually. I really, switched from lemons to coffee. Thank you so much. That was my topic.
Wonderful. Toastmaster Mehek. Okay, now after Toastmaster Mehek, Is Toastmaster Nimisha? Okay, Toastmaster Nimisha is already
Already had.
participated. Yes, sorry. And Toastmaster Sumit, is he there? Yeah, Toastmaster Sumit. All right.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Nice.
you're audible. All right. So your topic is, to me, the smell of fresh made coffee is one of the greatest inventions. To me, the smell of fresh made coffee is one of the greatest inventions.
The smell is one of the five senses that has been gifted to us to have our experiences of our life. The smell of a great coffee is one of the greatest invention that we had, because this shows a start of a new or a beginning of something new. When we have a great smell of a coffee, it sometimes gives us that invigorating experience of power, and it sometimes says that leave about the past, I am doing a new start. So a smell of a coffee is probably one of the greatest inventions, because it gives us a message, and the message is very invigorating, stating that you can always start from where you are now. So it's the power of now, the power of starting afresh, the power of starting something anew in life, that all probably comes to me when I have the smell of a coffee. That's the reason probably most of us loves and enjoy coffee so much. And that's how we can always start from wherever we are in our life's journey. And that's why a coffee's smell of a coffee is one of the greatest invention by humankind. Over to you, table topic master.
All all right, thank you. Okay, we'll just have one last speaker now, and
We
that's
have
going to be,
Nimit. We have Nimit who's just joined.
okay, Toastmaster Nimit. Okay, I would like to give you a topic. Just a second. And your topic is, this is the last one. Coffee with a friend is like capturing happiness in a cup. Coffee with a friend is like capturing happiness in a cup. Toastmaster Nimit.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naveen, for letting me go back to my memory lane when we all friends used to gather. Sometimes used to bunk our college classes to gather at Greenwood Cafe near our college to grab a cuppa and converse for long, long times, discuss our future plans, discuss our ambitions, and discuss something ill of other friends and teachers alike. Those memories are still fresh, and you have brought them just even closer to me today. Thank you very much for that. I still remember there was a day when we, my college mates, went to a coffee house. It was in Delhi. We we drove there, and it was perhaps a couple of hours we sat there and discussed about a, a project, the finally a project which we had to make there. We were Our conversation started with the technical aspects of the project, went on to what I'm going to wear for the farewell next week. So it was just going haywire, and I mean, we just had a ball of a time. And that too happened just in one venti cup of that Starbucks. So Thank you for this topic. There are a lot of memories in Starbucks, in Cafe Coffee Day, in Barista, which you have brought me back to. Thank you very much, and over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Toastmaster Nimit. Excellent speech. Now, with this, I would like to hand over the session to our General Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh.
Thank you very much. We will straight away begin with the evaluations, and I will call the first evaluator and would like to tell him that after his evaluation, he will call the second evaluator who will call me back on stage. So over to you, Toastmaster Sumit.
Less is more. Pricier is much more sought after. What a great learning we had today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an invigorating and enlightening speech that I had from Shorendra Bhumik, and that's where I have started my day. Shorendra, you started your speech with a reason for choosing a particular table topic. That's one of the best way people are so much willing to learn why part of things, and you started with a reason for choosing this topic, and that too with an example of Shah Rukh Khan. That really caught the audience attention. Also, the ending of the speech was apt because it ended with our own personal example that we all feel every single day. That's with Blue Quest. So point number one, beginning and the end was very, very apt in the speech. Second point is that you took us in a story within this speech, and the story was about how we all can probably use Veblen effect to become an emperor. That's what Julius Caesar did. Using the Veblen effect, he became the emperor. That's one of the best learning that we had, that today we can use this topic really in our personal life. The third point is the speech was full of examples. At any point of time, I did not feel that I'm not getting examples, because example is one of the way where we immediately attach the message to learnings that we can probably get from them. So it was one of the best way that you showed us a lot of examples, just like you're teaching a kid with a lot of examples. I felt that I had an invigorating time learning new concept, and no less than an expert who knows Veblen effect far better than anybody in this room. Let us now figure out some of the ways where we can bring this otherwise great speech even better. The personal examples are something that all of us are kind of looking for in terms of associating the audience with the message. Personal example is probably one of the best way that can help audience connect with the speech far better. And I believe that your personal coaching experience could be brought in here, where we would have felt that we are not listening to a speech, but getting a coaching from an expert who has used this particular skill or a topic in his own personal life to gain some strength. Since the speech was from effective coaching, and then you are also an expert in that area, something from personal would really add a lot of value to the speech, and in terms will help audience connect better with the speech and take the message back home. To gain a little bit more in terms of audience interest, probably you could have asked from audience some of the examples that they had in their and that could have been made it a two-way communication, and much more a coaching kind of a place where you would have been coaching all of us. So an otherwise well-crafted speech with a great message, if you add this personal example and little bit of audience attention can be gathered through asking examples, that would have made the speech the best speech that I have learned till date. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Sumit. I now request Kapil to evaluate the second speaker. The stage is yours.
Okay. First of all, Khushbu, congratulations on delivering a very well organized speech. Uh, Given that your objective of the speech was about, you need to mention about your mentee experience, and you clearly met your objective by citing few examples. So I would first start with few commendation that you started confidently and your speech was full of expressions. I really like the expressions you use because every sentence had some kind of expression, and as if that you are trying to express yourself with for every sentence. You articulated the importance of a mentor very confidently, and as I mentioned, you cited few good examples of Rupinder as well as Anant. That was really good. And I also like the way you defined Rupinder, Jagat Guru. We all associate that Rupinder is a Jagat Guru for most of us. And the voice modulation was there, and of course your expression were in sync with your voice modulation. So that is one thing that I really liked about your speech. But now coming back to recommendation, at times I felt that you were losing eye contact with the audience. It appeared to me that you were referring some notes, at least or in the initial part of your speech. Post that it was okay, but in the initial part of your speech you were referring some notes and you were losing your eye contact. Second, I could hear some sounds of breaths. It appeared to me that your mouth was too closer to your mouth. Your mic was too closer to your mouth, and I could hear those breathless sound. And at times I felt that some of the sentences were quite apt. The pace of the some sentences were quite apt, but you were rushing for some of the sentences, and that is where you were losing your breath. So probably you may want to watch out for your next speech. And I would have liked it if you have delivered it by standing, because we couldn't see your hand gestures. Though I saw that you were portraying your hand gesture, but because you were sitting and you were not showing your hand gesture, it was hard to see your hand gesture coordinated with your speech. So preferably it would be helpful if you could stand and deliver your next speech. And in the end, I would say that if you keep your mic away from your mouth, and if you deliver your speech by standing, it can take your speech to a next level. Those are the two key observations from my end, Khushbu. Thank you.
We will now conduct polls for the best table topic speakers first, because I'm then going to talk about the table topics evaluations. So please choose the best table topic speaker. Thank you. Timer, please time me for 1 to 2 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes as I go about evaluating the table topic speakers. Our first speaker was Ashish. Coffee is a hug in a mug. Ashish, I am envious that you grew up on a coffee plantation, that you live in a coffee plantation. I loved your use of the rhymes, good or bad, happy or sad. I felt that you went off slightly on a tangent in between your speech, but then you came back to the topic. Then we had Natasha making Mondays coffee, making Monday bearable. It was a very positive take on Monday, because many people associate Monday with, oh God, but you had a very positive take. I like the fact that you use negation, that my favorite drink is not coffee, it's actually tea. My recommendations to you: tulsi is holy basil, and Sonf is fennel. So, because we might have audiences from different parts of the world, just translation needs to be done. Ashok, I promised my doctor only 1 cup of coffee a day. I love the fact that you began with a personal story. I felt sorry that you cannot have coffee, and I like that consistent smile that you had throughout. I also liked how you referenced the graphic. Where you need to improve is your vocal variety. It stayed constant throughout your speech, so you might want to vary it a little bit. Tanmay, good communication is just as stimulating as coffee and just as hard to sleep after. My God, you got a really difficult topic. I mean, I would not have wanted this topic for a first time speaker in a Toastmaster. If I was there, I would have probably interpreted it on my own. But I think you made an excellent attempt. Your ending was a little bit abrupt. Khushbu, benefits of drinking coffee. A very good take on coffee, considering the fact that you are a teetotaler, and I also like the fact that you mentioned that you have one husband. That was a humorous take. Again, and you closed it very well. One thing, my feedback for you is that your face was very close to the camera, and because of that, what happens is that while your expressions get captured very well, also your flaws, they also come to the fore. So probably sitting about 2 or 3 feet away from the camera will help. Nimisha, I never drink coffee for lunch. It keeps me awake for the afternoon. I liked your struggles. I liked the struggles that you had with your afternoon siesta. And I liked the way you went about your topic. Once again, try to vary the tone, because it was one flat monotone throughout. Sharendra, a yawn is a silent scream for coffee. I loved that escalation chain. Your wife to your maid, and suddenly, while a cup of coffee appears in front of you. I need to learn how you yawn in front of your wife and she starts getting the hint. I just loved this ending. Uh, as far as recommendation, make sure that your next table topic is better than this one. Mehek, when life gives you lemons, trade them for coffee. You created some really relatable experiences. I have two recommendations for you. One, speak slowly so that you do not fumble, and second, explain Maggie and Ruafza again for an audience here. Sumit, the smell of fresh made coffee is the greatest invention. What I liked about your speech was you started by defining smell as one of the five senses and moved on to the smell of coffee. I felt that your story kind of lacked a personal story. If you had told them, it would have been better. Dimit, coffee with a friend is like happiness in a cup. I like that list of to-dos over coffee. Decide on the future, decide on a project, bitch about your friends, or talk behind your friends behind your back. My recommendation, once again, that there are people who might not understand the venti cup, uh, if especially if they are not fans of Starbucks like myself. That was it for the table topic speakers. I will now launch the poll for the best evaluator, speech evaluator. Please take 30 seconds to vote for the best speech evaluator. And after that, I will call on the grammarian. Grammarian, please stand by. Turn on your screen. Okay, I've got just a couple of more votes to go. Okay, now going to hand over to our grammarian Urfia Abdul to deliver her report.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Please excuse me for not turning on my video. I am also not able to share my screen. If it is preferred, should I just verbally
You can now share
present my
your
speech?
screen. You can now share your screen.
All right. Okay. So today I have 4 different tabs on my Excel sheet, starting with some of the new terms that we learned. We today, because of the theme, got to know a lot about coffee. So I have a separate table that is dedicated to coffee. So coffee connoisseur described by Alyssa, someone who knows everything about coffee. And now we have different kinds of coffee, different ways that we can prepare our coffee, and different machines used to make coffee. So these were new terms for me, and just a revision for all of you. Then other terms used in speeches were the Veblen effect by Saurendra, which is that the demand for a good increases as the price increases, and enunciate by Khushbu, which means say or pronounce something clearly. There were some that were not so great usages. Some of them were the most best, which could be replaced by the best. If you starting medicine, if you start taking the medicine. Then there were, I noticed, excessive use of the word very. A lot of times the words very good were used, which could be replaced by brilliant, impressive. Then there was chatting your partner, which could be replaced by chatting with your partner. And too closer, which could be replaced by too close. Again, there were many, but I chose only a few so that to save time. Then some of the thoughts that were really unique and I thought should be shared. Sheer pleasure of being overcharged. There was sarcasm in that, and humor as well. So Sorendra used that in his speech. The power is in your hand by Khushbu. We got to know that 1st October is International Coffee Day, and Naveen shared that information with us. Coffee is Therapeutic by Ashish. The Power of Now by Sumit, and we're having Ball of a Time by Nimith. Word of the day was used 3 times by Naveen and 3 times by Sumit. Although I had to draw, I got disconnected, so I might have missed a few in that. So please let me know if I missed someone. So that is my report as a grammarian. Thank you so much. I would like to now hand over the stage to the R counter. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Urfia. My role here was to count any overused words or filler sounds. And since you all are so perfect, my report is very short. So I'll start with Rupinder. Rupinder used just one Kapil was a little generous with the Rs. Naveen was flawless. Nimisha used just one Elisa was flawless. Same goes with Urfia. Natasha used one and two Rs. And Tanmay used one and 7 Rs. Surinder was again flawless. Sumit used 3 Rs. And Khushbu was flawless. Ashish used one and Nimit no Rs, no arms. Ashok used 4 Rs, and I think I used 2 or 3 Rs during the meeting. That was my report. Thank you. Now I'd like to pass on the stage to the timer. And also, sorry, instead of these ers and arms, you can use short pauses or long pauses to bring more effect to your speeches and to show more confidence, that bring more confidence to your speeches. Thank you so much. Now over to the timer.
Thank you so much, Madam R Counter. Now, I'm going to share my timer report, and these are all the timings. And today I want to highlight both the speakers took their good time to share their experience on the stage. Coming to the table topic section, it took around 29 minutes and 10 seconds. All the speakers in the table topic section are eligible. One of the evaluators overpart their time for 24 seconds. They get this a little bit more than that. Probably they went with the flow of sharing their evaluation, their feedback. Other than that, Toastmaster of the day probably were on time, and her total time is 13 minutes and 54 seconds. This is the time where she introduced her theme, then and also the role players as well. This is the time taken during the prepared speeches, within the prepared speeches, and this is after that. So this is the report. Please note down your timings. You did table topic speakers, you did really well. I will recommend the speakers since these are the prepared speeches. So this is where you can work upon. Just prepare, just practice once or twice, so that at least you know where the content is going. Accordingly, you can then be able to omit certain things from your speech and keep more relevant things. I'm not going to give the feedback on the speech. The only thing is that you really need to time your speeches before, since these are prepared speeches. With this, I'm going to end my report and call the journal evaluator on the day. If you need any other guidance, probably we can work together. Thank you so much. Mr. Journal Evaluator, over to you.
Thank you. And very quickly, let us vote for the best auxiliary role player. While that is happening, Madam Timer, please time me for 3 to 5 minutes as I go about evaluating the meeting in general. Well, the first thing that I absolutely liked was that we started on time. We started at 8:28. For the sergeant at arms, I have one recommendation that he really needs to remember the rules and not make ridiculous assumptions about people knowing. For, to the presiding officer, again, great job as always, getting the meeting in flow. I have a challenge for you, Kapil. Next time, I want you to come with a story of about 5 sentences. Get the audience really excited before you introduce the Toastmaster of the day. The Toastmaster of the day, super performance. I learned a lot about coffee today, and I am now probably going to show off my coffee skills the next time I'm out with someone. My recommendation to the Toastmaster of the day was that she probably took a little bit more time, especially considering that this is a condensed meeting, not more than 8 minutes of time. Overall, evaluators, both of you followed a structure. The commendations and recommendations were very well were very well delivered. Uh, One of the evaluators, Kapil, actually gave an excellent recommendation on the mic usage. Uh, where I think we can improve in our evaluations is to follow a structure. So, for example, I have a two recommendations, two commendations, and a summary approach. So, if you can follow that, I do not keep it beyond two commendations, two recommendations, two commendations, and summary, because if I'm explaining my commendations and recommendations, then that is all the time I have in 2 to 3 minutes. And testimony to that was the fact that I just won an evaluation contest following this approach. So follow that, number one. Number two, try not to say but. The but and the however are the bane of Toastmasters feedback, because we have feedback that goes, oh, you did a wonderful job, but, and that is where people stop listening to you after that, because they know whatever that is coming after that, they don't want to listen to that. Please mute your external devices. In one of the in the case of one of the evaluators, I heard the rather delightful sound of an Apple device, and I'm not an Apple fan, and might not have caused me to vote for you, although I cannot confirm or deny that. There was some fumbling between mic and mouth, and it could have become kind of embarrassing. So speak slower. My advice to everyone who fumbles is speak slower. It might mean that you might have a one less recommendation or one less commendation, but speak slower, at least you will be clear. When I come to my tag team, woman power at its core, I will not tell you who the winner of the best auxiliary role player is, but I can tell you in the beginning it was a very even fight. It was literally, those three lines were trying to stay constant as I watched the polling results. So great job done, all of you. To the R counter, I have one recommendation. You had this habit of flicking your hair back, which can be distracting to a person. They may not be able to focus on your report. Timer and grammarian, I love the way you brought up the screens and went about explaining everything, especially the timer for so painstaking detail. The grammarian, you may have logged out, or you may have, been knocked out of the meeting for about 4 minutes, but your report did not seem to indicate that. Great job done, as always. And I really found the word of the day quite invigorating, almost as invigorating as the tag team that I have today. And next time I'm a general evaluator, I would love to go into battle with you three by my side. Overall meeting, again, great job. Some of us were having challenges muting ourselves, present company included. In fact, I realized that I was unmuted on more than one occasions. So that is something that I have to take care of. That is something that we all have to take care of. We are running slightly behind because of uh, speeches getting extended and the and roles getting extended. Let's try to maintain as much and try to be within time as much as possible. One of the factors that I liked about the meeting today is that we started with 14 people. We're still at 14 people, so we are maintaining the quorum throughout the meeting, which is a testament to the fact that this was a good meeting. Otherwise, people start dropping off. Thank you so very much. It was an honor being your general evaluator for today, and I will now hand it over to our presiding officer so that he can take the proceedings further. Over to you, Kapil.
Okay, thank you, Rupinder. While you compile your results, let me take feedback from our guests. Ashish, could I start with you first?
Sure. So it's always a pleasure to come to Blue Quest, especially Rupinder sir is always insistent, and he's I think one of the best ambassadors for your club to get to know whenever meeting is happening. Other than that, the club is quite heartening, and we have people joining and giving it their best, and that makes our one of the best mornings to start in the week. So even though I joined in late due to other commitments, but I enjoyed the whole meeting to which I was presented. Thank you for having me as your guest. Looking forward to come as many times as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. Over to you, Tanmay.
Yeah, thanks, Kapil. I think I enjoyed the session thoroughly. The best thing about Toastmasters is the way it has been set up, working on impromptu speeches which are completely prepared. So it allows to improve different aspects of communication. I thoroughly enjoyed the session. It was completely informative and educational at the same time. And I hope, since I'm in Gurgaon only, I'll definitely join this club. I'll talk to Rupinder sir after this meeting. Thanks.
Thank you, Tanmay.
Tanmay, the person you want to talk to is Sharendra Bhaumik. He's sitting right here. After the meeting, just get in touch.
Okay, sure, sir.
Nimit.
Thank you, Kapil and Blue Quest, for having me today. I have a few things. First of all, thank you for letting me sneak in and attempt a table topic. Also, I loved the posture right from the beginning. When I got that posture, I saw the posture, the titles, the analogy which was made with the theme. I really loved it. And I have shared that with Rupinder as well. And secondly, what I like about Blue Quest and this meeting is about this new format which you guys are trying about the stage handover. So I wanted to see how it actually happens, and I'm really impressed by it. So thank you, and looking forward to be part of more meetings with you.
Thank you, Nimit. Mehek.
Thank you, Kapil. I just wanted to say it was a great experience. I learned a lot from all of you. And I thought it is a bit early for a meeting, but no, the meeting was amazing. And in fact, even more invigorating than coffee. It was really amazing. I learned a lot from you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Urfia, are you still there? Oh, I guess.
I think Urfia is left.
Natasha?
Hi, Kapil. What draws me to Blue Quest is Alisa, Rupinder, Khushbu, Surendra, Kapil, the common faces, the popular faces that I've seen every time I've been here. And when I see them on the poster, it's very attractive to be here. And watching the new faces for me, Nimisha and Mehek and the tag team, definitely the all-woman tag team did not disappoint. I really enjoyed being here, and I absolutely loved every table topic. It was quite amazing how you were able to connect each of them with the theme of the day. That was very well done. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part here again.
Thank you so much, Nietzsche. It was always lovely to have you. Naveen?
Arpana is there. Arpana.
Arpana is not on audio. She is just looking at us through video.
Okay.
Naveen, I don't know what you have to say about today's meeting, but really, I loved your table topics.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Toastmaster.
Okay.
Our resident guest, Nimisha.
Yeah.
Welcome
Oh,
back. Welcome back.
thank you.
Yes, welcome
The
back. And
fact
thank you for coming.
it's completely my pleasure.
I had to
Again,
coax her yesterday to come in.
Oh,
like
she does
there
play
were
hard to
two
get, doesn't she?
She is. She is.
people poking. It is lovely experience. It has always been. The only thing is to wake up in the morning, and finally, I am going to work on it and going to come to the future meetings as well.
Thank you
Because I
so
have got a lot from this club during the start of my journey, and I'm not going to leave. And the fact that the couple doesn't consider me as a guest, it actually
No, you
even in
you
the
lost
starting and
that
now
you
as
lost
well.
that membership because
You
you
lost
were
that
upset for.
privilege.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Rupinder, are you ready with your results?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to change our tagline. We're going to say that Blue Quest, waking people up on Wednesdays since ever since we started our meetings at 8:30 in the morning. Um, if you think that is early in the morning, Mehak, consider the fact that we used to have physical meetings at one point in time, and they used to start at 8:30, and I would be here at something like 7:45 in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning because it used to take a lot of time to get in. You had to go through the security, which is not as bad as the one that you have at TCS GG7. They literally ask you every question whether you ate onions in the morning or did you have a fight with your wife, and if not, then go back. If yes, then go back home. That sort of a thing. But it was still, they were more cooperative than the guards at TCS Maitri Gurgaon. I say that with all humility because I was your area director at one point in time. But let me share my screen and let me start with so this is our automatic certificate generator. So let's start. We have three table topic speakers, and in my infinite wisdom, the top two were a tie, so I kind of tossed a coin and I decided who can give second. But let's start with number three. The Our number three table topic speaker was actually supposed to be an evaluator today, but then a speaker backed out. She actually was not even supposed to come to the meeting because an evaluator backed out. So that is the reason that she woke up and she came. And although she says that Alisa was the reason that she came, and I also happen to be one of the reasons. Many congratulations, Nitasha Kumar. Yeah, I just had a really, I almost had a mini heart attack. I was like, what if it is not Nitasha and you've been describing her all this while? Anyway, no doubts onto the table topic speaker number two. I really have to learn from, and this is actually going to his wife and not to Khushbu's husband. That table topic recording is going to his wife, definitely. Many congratulations, distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Mohammed. Oh, well, you'll be lucky if you get even one cup of coffee today. Uh, Okay, I think I have opened. Yes, okay. 1 second. I'll have to go back and open the best table topic speaker number one once again. Right. Our best table topic speaker today was one of the speakers. Many congratulations, Khushbu Chokani. I really do not know how to take a compliment, so I beg for your forgiveness if I am appear too embarrassed slash whatever. So that is something that I'm learning, still learning. Uh, Moving on to our best speech evaluator, there was a disqualification, but that would not have mattered because Kapil Kakkad, you were winning it anyways by quite a margin. Then coming on to our best auxiliary role player. Again, it was literally the holy trinity of the auxiliary role players. But in the end, it is said that time and tide wait for no one, and that time is the greatest teacher, and that the time is the greatest healer. And look at that smile, the hard to get timer for the day, Nivisha Singla. Many congratulations. Then the best role player. Okay, we should really have an honorary award, hands down, for that excellent presentation on coffee, the kind of research. Wow, you could be a coffee connoisseur yourself. Alisa Schneider, proud to have you as a wingman. And to the best speaker, well, he, or was it she? He or she, I really don't remember who it was now. Oh, and my screen. Okay, it's Shaurendra Bhaumik, from where I can read. For some reason, it is showing it all white. It's Shaurendra Bhaumik. Many congratulations, distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhaumik. Great
Thank
job
you.
done. And with one click of this button, your certificates will be received by you in your respective inboxes. That's it from my side. I will stop sharing the screen and you can spare yourself the embarrassment of having to listen to me. Thank you very much.
Inder, shall we take up next week's role?
Uh,
Or
we we can ask Raj if he still wants to give a speech next week. And
Can I do a TMOD role? I haven't done it for some time now.
sold, already sold. And
Oh,
Natasha's
sold.
found another reason to come next week. Natasha, do you want to
Okay.
take on a role next week? Shaurendra sir is the Toastmaster of the day. Natasha, do you want to take a role?
Or do table topics?
We'll do table topics.
Or do
Okay.
you want me to do anything else? I'm
No, table topics is good enough. I was actually angling
We
for it.
can stop the recording.
Oh, thank you for reminding. What would I do without you? See, this is why you should come more.